Hello, this is going to be a series of videos of GeoGuessr tips, and this is going to be the first one. And the tips will go from more beginner or generic tips to more advanced nitty-gritty tips like that. Okay, so here we have number one. Let's see what we get for the first tip. Alright, so for this one, it's driving side. Now, in most countries, they drive on the right with their cars, or bikes too, actually. But in some countries, they drive on the left. So, like in the British Isles over here, they drive on the left. And then also in Southeast Asia, a lot of these countries, they drive on the left. And like Japan. So, like, but not Philippines. They drive on the right in Philippines. So, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Japan, I think South Korea, and maybe Taiwan. All drive on the left again. And then also Australia and New Zealand. So you can use that to pinpoint where you are. So here we're driving on the left. As you can see, there's signs and then also the cars, and it says Birmingham. So I'll just go yes, in England somewhere. Cool. All right, next tip. Next tip is going to be red roofs. Now, in Europe, or particularly like Central or Eastern Europe, a lot of the roofs are going to be red. So as you can see, a lot of the roofs here are red, and just like a style of architecture. Now some aren't, but a lot of them are red. It's like the traditional. These are probably the older buildings. So, yep. So I'll just go somewhere. I know where it is. I'll just go in Poland and see. Oh, and I got this location because of Vicky's map. Okay. There it was in Olsztyn. Alright. Next. Next is the sun. Now, you may be thinking, why are we using the sun and how are we going to use the sun? Well, I'll explain it to you. So, okay, that's a good Earth. That's good enough. Alright, so here's the Earth. And then I'll also draw the sun over here. And this is not to scale at all. The sun is a lot bigger than the Earth, but this will work for now. Alright, so Earth, sun. Now, the Earth is also tilted. You have the Earth here and the sun here. But let's draw at the equator. So the Earth is actually tilted by like 23 degrees or something. So the equator's, no, not like that. The equator's going to be like that sometimes. And then the prime meridian, the poles. Let's see. Let's just do like that. So it's like a globe. Yes? Alright, so here we have the northern hemisphere. And here we have the southern hemisphere. Alright, so here we have the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Now this might not make a lot of sense, but just hold your horses. Okay, so the Earth has seasons, and that's because it's tilted like this. Why, you ask? Because this actually goes back and forth like this. It goes back and forth as it rotates around the sun, and it also spins, and then there's a lot of spinning going on in the universe. So basically, it spins around, it goes back and forth. But how it makes seasons is when it's tilted like this, a part of the Earth is going to be closer to the sun than another part. So right here, the Earth is tilted, so the southern hemisphere is closer. So like right here, it's going to take, or not even take, this is going to be closer than up here. So this is when it's summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere, because the sun is closer to the southern hemisphere, so it's warmer, and the sun's further away from the northern hemisphere, so it is colder. That's why the seasons are always switched. But the Earth rotates back and forth like this, so you could have it the other way around and then have the northern hemisphere closer, and then it would be summer there and then winter in the southern hemisphere. Let's say you're standing on the northern hemisphere, okay? And you look at the sun. Don't look at it for too long though, because that'll hurt your eyes. Okay. But basically, this is going to appear south for you because it's going to appear looking down or relatively down and towards the southern pole. So you're going to actually have to look towards the southern hemisphere in a way, because if you draw like a line right here, like a right triangle, then it will be right there. And you'll have to look down. It's an angle of depression. And that angle of depression is actually going to change how far up on the northern hemisphere you are. So if you're all the way up here, it's going to be a lot more. When if you're down here, it's going to be a lot less. And the same thing applies for the southern hemisphere too. I just don't want to draw it again. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if you're in the northern hemisphere, the sun's going to appear in the south, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, the sun's going to appear in the north. That's like the basic tip that everybody or most people know, because you don't know. Okay, but that's not all. You see, that's where many people stop, but that's not where I stop. Basically, you can tell based on the season what, or by the sun's position, what season it is and how far up north you are. So if you're like very far up north, it's going to be very far south, and you're very far south, it's going to be very far north. But this also changes on the season, because if the earth is tilted this way, then this angle is going to be a little bit different, and the sun's going to be a little less south, and over here it's going to be even more north. So you can kind of pinpoint this season depending on how north or south it is. Trust me, it gets easier the more you try it. So here's an example of it. And the sun is very south. You can see the compass over here. And the sun is in the direct south. Now, what you can ask is this winter? Because if it's winter, then it could be pretty much like regular northern hemisphere because of how the angle. So over here it's winter. So the angle could be like, let's say that the angle is like this much. Right? But if it's winter, that's going to be even more. So the same angle, the same place over here will have a higher angle. I don't really know how to explain this super well, but I'm trying. Okay. So basically, sun in the south means that you're in the northern hemisphere. But if it's very far in the south, like it is right here, that means A, you're either really far up north, or B, it's winter. And this only happens in the winter, because in the summer, it gets closer. So it gets like closer to straight. So it will just be straight up ahead. So, does it look like winter? No. All the trees kind of have leaves and everything. Does it look like fall though? Because fall is kind of close to winter. And I would say yes, because of these like orangish leaves, because those are very common in the fall. So I would say that this is actually like pretty medium north. So like not too far, but still up there. So let's just say like Manitoba around Lake Winnipeg. Yeah. I chose this location. Okay, and here's the other example for the sun. So as you can see right here, the sun is very far in the north. See the compass, and then sun is in the north. So that means that we have to be in the southern hemisphere, and we can ask ourselves these same questions. Does it look like winter? Well, not really. You could look at these mountains. They don't look very winterish. It looks like kind of warm almost. But I don't know. It could be like spring or fall or something. So the sun's like in the north, but not like extremely in the north. So I think, let's see, does it look like... So this could be like Australia or South Africa or Argentina. I'm thinking of that latitude, I think it's called, or longitude, I don't know. So I guess I'll go Argentina for this one, because the sun does look pretty far south and doesn't look like winter. So maybe like down here, just because that's a little bit more south than Australia and South Africa. Holy moly. Oh, it's actually not that much. Never mind. So there we go. We're in the south of Argentina-ish. Alright, next tip is going to be number plates. So these registration plates on the back of a car, over here and over here. And basically, there's a lot of things you can tell from them, and I'll go into the different designs and colors probably in a different video. But for now, I'm just gonna talk about the length. So, in North America, in like Canada, US, Mexico, just forget about these for a sec. The plates will be short, pretty much one of the shortest plates, one of the kinds of shortest plates that you ever see. So over here, very short plates, even in Mexico and Canada. So in a lot of the other parts of the world, so for example in Europe, the plates will be longer. So right here you can see it's a pretty long plate, so that's like over here be a long plate. But also in a lot of countries in Africa, it will be longer plates. So like South Africa will be longer plates. Russia will have longer plates. I don't know about any of these countries because they're not covered by Street View. Kyrgyzstan has long plates, but yeah, longer plates. And then Japan has short plates, like almost shorter than in the North America. South Korea, yeah, also short plates. But then over here we're back to long plates. And over here we have like shortish, like medium plates. Then you also get like medium plates, like I said, in Australia, New Zealand, and then also a lot of places in South America. So in Brazil, Uruguay, Bolivia, Colombia, well, not really Colombia, but over here it's kind of mediumish plates. Colombia kind of has shorter plates. Ecuador can actually have a mix of short and long. So you might see both. So yeah, that's the length of plates. And then there's also different designs and colors, but like I said, that's a bit more advanced. I'll go through that in a later video. So I'm going to say Europe here just because the general feel, maybe like France. It's a Fiat. Maybe I'll do Italy. Okay, I'll do near Florence. Okay, it was France. Same thing though, because long plates. Alright, and final tip, the lines on the road. The road, okay. So as you can see right here, there are two lines that are yellow that are in the middle of the road. So this is a double yellow line, and it is very common to the Americas. That's the generic, that's like the information. So anywhere, Alaska, Canada, US, well, US is Alaska, Mexico, probably all down here. South America. I mean, there are some exceptions, but let's just say that for now. So this could be pretty much anywhere in the Americas. Now you may be thinking, well, that's a pretty bad tip. Well, it's actually not, because there are a lot of places that could be Europe, and it could be like Canada's over here in Quebec can look a lot like Europe. But yeah, in Europe, a lot of times the lines are white, but not all the time. So for example, like in Norway, you a lot of times have a single white or yellow line down the middle. And then other places you can get yellow lines all over the place. Like in England, you can get double yellow lines on the side of the road. But most of the time there will be like white lines and stuff. Okay. And then over here, there can also be white lines. In Japan, there can be a double yellow line. In Taiwan, there can also be a double yellow line. In the Philippines, I don't think so. Thailand, there can be a single yellow line down the middle. And then there are also different other road lines that I'll probably go into in another video. But basically what we're talking about this time is just the double yellow lines. So let's go plonk somewhere in the US. I don't know, Iowa, that looks good. Actually, no, it looks kind of hilly. Maybe like Kentucky. Yeah, that looks like Kentucky. Okay. Let's go. What was it? Iowa? Oh, no, it was, Wisconsin. Don't you know? Okay. So, that's the last tip of this video. I'll be putting another video, like, in a week or something. I don't know. These are not super difficult to make yet. So, yeah, this video was pretty... It didn't really require any prior knowledge, just kind of how to play the game. Hope you found it interesting. I have a Discord server. I will link that in the description, and maybe a pinned comment as well. Also, if you can hear the music in the background, yep, you guessed it, I made that music. So if you like that, go check out my music It's on like Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube and all the music platforms you can imagine because I paid for it. So yes, make sure to go check that out if you like it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye.